What is the scariest thing that has ever happened to you? I was a kid when this happened. My uncle and I were finishing up chopping/gathering firewood for my grandmother because it was getting dark. Driving back on a dirt road at about 30 miles per hour, give or take 5 miles per hour, I had this awful sense of being watched. Before I could turn to look out my window, passenger side, my uncle quickly shouted, "Don't." I completely froze. My heart felt like it was beating out of my chest, then completely stopped when I heard a tap tap on my window. My uncle sped up and was loudly praying in my native language. I didn't know what was going on and thought it was over till our truck suddenly dipped from the bed. My uncle then started saying, "Look at me and don't turn away," over and over. Then I heard it again. Tap tap, but from the window behind me. It was getting harder for me to breathe and I wanted to cry. A minute or two passed and the truck dipped again. My uncle looked around and sighed. It was quiet besides the truck and the road. He looked at me and said, "We will ask your father to do a prayer in the morning, so the evil will forget our faces," Navajo to English equivalent. I remember curling up on the seat and just staring at the radio, watching the time, listening to my uncle sing an old prayer till we got to my grandmother's house. Edit. I called my uncle because I had a nightmare about that night. We talked about it for a bit. He said, "I didn't see faces, just eyes. Like brake lights you see on the road. It watched you," Navajo to English equivalent. Before hanging up I tried joking with him about it. "Why didn't you just step on the brake when it was in the back?" No laughter. Just a pause. Because it wasn't alone. Edit 2. Yes. Any kind of window tapping still scares the shit out of me. Tap tap. 8 missed calls from my mom. Not me, but my girlfriend, before we were together. This is about 8 years ago, when she was 18. Her and her family went on holiday to the United States. A sort of round trip through the country. For about a month. They went to the places you'd expect. WDC. New York. LA. They also went to San Francisco. Their usual sleep arrangement would be mom and dad in one room and my girlfriend and her brother in another. So they get to the hotel in San Francisco and settle in. My girlfriend puts on some fresh makeup. Her brother is taking a shit before going to dinner. The usual stuff. They leave the room and have a good time. Later in the evening they come back home and my girlfriend goes to the bathroom. I shit you not, this really happened. She looks in the mirror with the shower curtain in the back and clearly sees that there is someone standing behind it. She immediately gets scared and runs from the room. These idiots call ducking room service while in the room in order to tell them there is someone in their bathroom, as opposed to running the hell away. Room service tells them to not pack anything and leave immediately. Turns out a man had been in there the entire time, even when her brother had been taking a dump. Police gets involved and everything. They were never told who exactly it was, which scares me the most, but my girlfriend always checks shower curtains when we don't sleep at home. My wife and I had lived together for a few years and moved into a 2-level apartment. Occasionally, I started to hear a child scream. Just one scream. And definitely from inside the apartment. It would happen once every few days. And it was clearly an anguished, painful scream. Sometimes it would happen in the middle of the night. Sometimes in broad daylight. I was starting to have some issues with my nerves after several weeks of this. I would always jump up and run through our apartment trying to figure out where the scream had come from. But, as it was a short scream and only once, I could never tell where the hell it was coming from. I started telling friends and family about it, because I was pretty wigged out. The screams that would happen around 4 AM were the worst. I was so keyed to that scream that I would jump up and run around in a desperate attempt to find the source of this pained scream. It would take me forever to get back to sleep after that. I'd just lay there with my heart pounding, waiting for another scream. I was cleaning my office one day when the scream happened in the same room with me. Scared the shit out of me. I don't frighten easily, but I'll admit I jumped like I was going to die. I look over to see that my computer screensaver was a 3D South Park Kenny floating around and getting stabbed by a spear. the sound was turned to off. But still once every few days. Kenny would scream in pain as the spear thing stabbed him. I felt like a ducking idiot. But also extremely relieved no child had been murdered in my apartment and was now haunting me. TLDR. You killed Kenny and he haunted me. Edit. Someone requested the sound effect. I did a quick search and found the actual screensaver. I have no idea how to extract the sound. One of the patch notes reads, main bug was the one where, if you had sound turned off, Kenny would still scream when he died. This was an accident, but I absolutely pissed myself when I started getting emails about it. Thank you for watching. Like, share and check out other videos.